there. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with the name itself. Okay.
Okay.
So, your name,
Miss Mori Gonzalez,
the school you teach at,
Sunland Elementary,
your grade,
third.
and years of teaching.
This is my ninth year.
Okay. The first question is, why did you become a teacher?
I became a teacher, and I knew I wanted to be a teacher since I was in third grade, because I would see my teachers like very happy and excited, and like they looked like they enjoyed what they were doing. So I wanted to have that same feeling too, and school was also kind of like a place where I felt really safe. So I wanted other kids to feel the same like I did, like seeing a teacher who inspires them and somebody that looks very excited about what they're doing. Yes, ma'am. You're done?
Do I do the
Do your next one. Yep.
Okay. Second question is, why do you want to work at this school?
This school in particular, I did my student teaching here, and then my first 2 years of teaching, I was at a different school in the same district. But I wanted to come back to Sunland because it felt like home.
Yeah.
I was very respected. The staff was really good, like very welcoming. And then this school in particular, like the kids, I just love the community.
Yeah.
These parents understand, and they respect me very much, and the students do too. And I see the value of education that especially these parents have, because they want their students to be successful. Because here we have students that are not proficient in English, and the parents aren't. But it's a whole different dynamic of level of respect, I think. And then also it's one of them. They're very entrusting in teachers and supportive in that way. So
Yeah.
that's why I love being here.
What's the best part of your job?
The best part of my job is that every day is different. Not one day is like always the same where it's boring, like, oh, I gotta go to work again, I have to do this. Every day is different. And another best part is that you get to see the student success. So like those students who maybe are not reading or can't do things, but once after you teach them, like once it's looking at them where they say, I know how to do this, or excited to shout an answer, like that's like the best feeling, because that's money that you can't buy that.
Yeah.
So the kids, because of me, they're able to also be able to do that. But then it has to take their effort too.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of qualities do students look for in the teachers?
Well, in the beginning of the school year, I give my kiddos like an assignment where what do you want your teacher to know, or what do you want your teacher to be like? A lot of my kids said caring, loving, funny, helpful, pretty, like just there's just so many different things, and they're kids, they're being honest. So what I think is most important for a teacher to have that the kids would really is someone who they can trust.
Yeah.
Because once they can trust you, then you can build those relationships with them where it's okay, where you tell them, I need you to fix this, or this is how you do it. They're willing to be like, oh, okay, you're here, I trust that she's gonna help me. So then they help out.
Yeah. What personality traits do teachers need to be successful?
Collaborative, because you need to be able to work with your team members and as a whole school, also with like the grade level in front of you or behind you. Also, again, trust, the respect, just that compassion and the understanding. I think understanding is a big part, because if you understand what your team lead or your partner is going through, then you'll be able to support in that way, and instead of like bumping heads or being like, oh, well, I can't believe she's not teaching this, or if you understand like the group of students that she has, or the years of experience, I think being understanding is very, very important.
Yeah. How do you approach discipline, and what roles does it play in learning?
So I like to give second chances, and like my students know, like you're gonna make a mistake, and when you make a mistake, it's okay to learn from them and think, okay, what did I do wrong, and how am I gonna fix it next time? So in my classroom, we have the green, yellow, and red. If a student, after 2 warnings, and then the kids will know, like, I've been talking to you already, this is your first warning, this is what I need you to fix, or this is what I need you to do. And then like the next warning, like the second warning, like I said, I give chances. Then I'll say again, I told you not to do this, and then finally, once enough, it's like, okay, now go change your part. But I do allow my kids to show me throughout the day that they're gonna improve on that type of behavior, and then they get to go back to it. I know that defeats the purpose of the green, yellow, red. We're like, nope, they stay on that color. But I believe in second chances. Like if they're really, really trying, then they get to go home at the end of the day knowing that, hey, you know what, I did make a mistake, but I get to try again. And then we do like incentives, like free dress down on Fridays. So different stuff like that. Oh, are you finished? I'll check it right now, okay? Good morning, buenos días. Sí, sí, pásale. Déjame terminar nomás poquito con ella porque me está dando una entrevista de ser maestra.
The seventh is, how do you interact with parents? That was a perfect example.
That was a perfect example. That's how I interact.
Yeah.
Just being very also understanding with parents and giving them that level of respect too. Because I'm a mom.
Yeah.
So however I want to be treated with from my kids' teachers, that's how I also treat my parents too.
How has state, local, or Common Core standards affected your lesson planning process?
Common Core standards have been most for like the amount of years that I've been teaching. It hasn't really changed drastically. I know when we first implemented it, like when I first started teaching back 9 years ago, I really had to just look back and what does it look like and how is it at a time range? Because the Common Core standards is for kinder all the way up to 12. And it was supposed to say like, oh, once if a student's in California and the student comes to Arizona, they're not missing any of standards that they were supposed to be taught. It really hasn't affected it so much because I look at what the standard is, I dissect it, but then I also look at my students and I gather data. What do they know? What don't they know? And how do I need to help them to be able to have the big step?
Yeah. Number 9 is, what do you think of technology in the classroom and how have you integrated it into your lessons?
Wow, we had laptops for like 5 years, which was really good. We did do Google Classroom and it was a little interactive. We had our little bumps in the road, but we like it because sometimes the copy machine's not working or something, we don't have enough paper. So with technology, we're able to upload those documents and the students can interact with it then. I'm kind of old school where I still like paper pencil so that they still have those motor skills that they need to practice and then reading a book physically rather than on the computer because then it's like, oh, I'm going to flip through because it's like a movie. But since we got iPads this year, I really, really like it because they are able to interact and I see the engagement where they're more excited. Like if I'm teaching just using the whiteboard, it's like, but if I'm using a smart board and things are moving, then they seem more engaged. So So it's more of, I need to kind of let go of the old school ways and realize we're now in a big technology and these kids are engaged and interested in it.
10 is, how do you motivate students in your classroom?
So like in their homework binders, they have their pre-test, post-test for spelling. They get stickers. Whenever they finish an assignment, I put a stamp or I give the positive praise. Like the incentives again, they get like no homework or free dress up house on Fridays. And it's all just like verbal, like, oh, I like the way that you did this, or they're being a great role model. That way the kids recognize that they're doing something good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you 3 questions that I came up with myself. Okay. How many years do you plan on teaching?
As long as I need to. As long as I will be blessed, healthy, to be able to keep teaching.
Okay.
I think I want to retire I'm sure I'm going to retire as a teacher.
Okay. What schools have you taught at?
I have taught at just teaching?
Yeah.
Not like student teaching, anything like that?
Oh, I want to know student teaching.
Okay. So when I did I was in the Roosevelt, but because South Mountain had the partnership, that's where I got recruited from. So ASU had the partnership with Roosevelt District that I teach.
Okay.
So all of my student teaching, I did Valley View. One time I did it in the summer for kindergarten. I was also Valley View for 5th grade classroom. I was only once a week. And then I did Sunland. This was my full student teaching at Sunland. And then I also did it at Southwest, which was my first 2 years of teaching. I was there. That's why I was there, because I chose to get that job, because I did also, it was like it wasn't like student teaching, but it was called something else. I don't remember what it was called. But it was also once a week for kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
So I've done kindergarten, 5th grade. Oh, and then I also did 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
At Campbell. Yeah, it was at Campbell, 6th grade. So with that program, that first year, we rotated every like half semester, we rotated.
Okay.
And then soon finally, like I think it was January to May, that's when it was just half a year's full student teaching, Monday through Friday. Yep, that's where I've been.
Did you ever think about switching from 3rd grade?
I would like to do first again. I would go back to first grade.
Okay.
Kindergarten I wouldn't do. First grade, second grade maybe I would do, but I really like third grade because having that background experience teaching first grade, I'm able to help support these students
Yeah.
in what they don't know about reading and writing or in math because I know, hey, in first grade they're supposed to do this. Okay, they didn't get those foundations and I'm gonna show them what they need to do.
Okay, last one. What do you think I should expect my last 2 years? I'm gonna be a junior next year, and I'm gonna do the NAU programs.
You're gonna see a lot of different teaching methods and a lot of different ways of how teachers implement instruction. You'll have some teachers that are very fully engaged. You'll have some teachers that are just like, here's your work, do this. You'll see that some teachers are very, very passionate about it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not passionate, but very, very into it where like they give their full energy and they have like galores of ideas. What I would suggest for you to do is when you observe different teachers is look to see and find what would work for you. Because sometimes something that works for one teacher isn't going to work for somebody else. So you know yourself and you know what kind of personality you have and what you know you're capable of or you want to push yourself to do. So I would suggest just observing and then just say, hey, I like that idea, write it down. Because once you become a teacher, you will have time to say like, oh, I want to do this or this is this. But when you're actually thrown in the classroom and it's ready to teach, you don't have time to say, I'm going to try this for 1 week. I'm going to try this for another week. Because you want to have, and something with students is you want to have a structure and consistency. Because whenever something is different for them and they're used, it's like, wait a minute, what happened? And that's when some behavioral problems or some kids, it's hard for them to adjust. So just find things that you like, write them down, take pictures. Even like if you see a teacher do, oh, I like how she does her board, take a picture of it and start creating your own little, like a portfolio of ideas that you would want to implement in your classroom. Because then you don't want to be like, oh, I forgot what that teacher had. And then it's like, oh, I have a picture or I wrote it down. But it's a lot of fun. It is a struggle to be a teacher, but it has a lot of positiveness. And you feel very good about yourself. And especially if you wanted to always be a teacher, like it's that reward to yourself. Like that's something that I've always wanted in life. And for me, it's a reward.
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you for letting me ask this question. It's bringing you back
It's
to the
bringing
start.
me back to the start. Well, because I don't know if I had told you, like my first 2 years of teaching, like I was ready to be like, that's it, I'm done. Because of things that were happening that I couldn't control, but were happening inside the school. But then my grandfather, knowing that he knew I've always wanted to be a teacher, gave me that talk and talked me out of it where I was like, you know what? And then thankfully that's when I came to Sunland. And I've been here since. So I've been teaching 9 years. Can you imagine me saying, well, I only taught 2 years and that was it? Like, now I get to say I've been teaching 9 years. So I've been here 7 years. So and I hope I stay here forever.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Now